Well, with Korea becoming an increasingly aging society, the nation's pension system has been making news here in Korea in recent years. But in recent weeks, there has been a controversy brewing over the pension systems for government employees and members of the military. For a closer look at the debate, we have Dr. Byoung-joo, head of KLNP Consulting and a regular commentator on this program, joining us live in the studio. Good afternoon to you, Dr. Kim.
Good afternoon.
Now, let's first get to the essence of this controversy surrounding government and military pension systems.
Right. The essence is, in terms of soundbite in the news media headlines, it's 2.2 million won per month versus 840,000 won. The first one is the monthly payment, average payment that's going out for former government employees in terms of their pension, helping them. And second one, 840,000 as compared to 2.2 million won, is the average national pension payment to average ordinary Korean citizens. So there's an uproar about that big gap between the ordinary citizens' national pension versus the former government employees' pension here. And they're saying it's unfair. Basically, it's like a 2.6 times higher than average national pension to ordinary citizens. And the growth rate itself is quite impressive as well, the government workers' pension there. We have seen about like 16% growth for the past about 4 years here. And also, and this is happening while actually number of people who are receiving this pension has increased over 23% over the past 4 years. So a lot of people are receiving this quite generous pension over the years, and their monthly payment amount has been also growing quite a lot. And a lot of people are raising issue about that, because if you're a former government official, you're enjoying this generous benefit of the pension, while ordinary citizens do not get to do that.
You know, the problem with the government and military pension system here in the nation have been around for quite some time.
That's true.
But the issue has flared up again in recent weeks, months.
Right.
Now, it has something to do with another controversy surrounding the national pension system as a whole.
Right.
What more could you tell us?
Right, exactly. We've been seeing this issue, around, as you said, for quite some time. But the thing is, I think it was beginning of July when there was first discussion about the need to possibly increase the overall payment system, monthly payment system into the national pension. That's because, according to the economists, by year 2060, national pension may actually run out of its fund here in Korea. Even though, it's interesting, even though currently we have 400 trillion won in reserve, but because we have such a fast aging population, they're saying by year 2060 we may actually run out of that reserve, and people may get into trouble. So they're saying, economists are saying, we may have to actually raise monthly premium on national pension. And all of a sudden people are saying, oh look, by the way, the government officials and military personnel, they're enjoying all these great benefits which is funded by the taxpayers. So why do we have to raise, why do we have to accept the increase of monthly premium when these folks are enjoying these great benefits at the expense of our tax money? So that's a very political issue here, and that's how it became highlighted these days.
Well, then the question is, why do these the government and military pension systems need such large subsidiary from the government to begin with?
The basic thing is, I think we have to be fair about this. If you're a government official or if you're a military personnel, there's an expectation for your public service in exchange for, relatively speaking, low wage. We don't believe government officials are getting paid a lot of amount of money like every month, or military officials or military personnel are getting paid a lot of money every month. And that's because there is an expectation after their retirement, at least there will be, relatively speaking, generous pension that will cover for the rest of your life. So I think the whole package comes in as the whole thing, and that has been our expectation as well. But because of this political situation, all of a sudden this is being highlighted. And going back to your question, because of this original expectation, what has been happening is, even though government officials and the military personnel have been setting aside certain money every month for their pension payment, there is a guarantee by law that these people will be receiving every month after their retirement certain amount of money. And so that if there is a gap between what the fund can generate on its own and the guaranteed amount, the tax money will have to come in. And that's what has been happening over the years indeed. So, in the past, we did not raise a big issue about that, but now because of this political situation where national pension is getting a lot of attention and people are complaining a lot about this, now this is happening. Of course, what's happening is we got to talk about the gap between national pension and the government officials' pension. Government officials' pension, general expectation is, on average, they get to receive about 3 times higher, more money in total in lifetime than what they have contributed. While on the national pension side, currently we get only like 1.7 times more money than what we contribute in terms of our premium monthly payment. So there is a gap, of course. But general expectation has been around that way, the way I see it, and it's just a fair treatment for a public service, in my own view. But in this political circumstances, it has become a question of fairness.
Right. The original design was set up to be that way, and it's just that all of a sudden that the government and military pension system looking unsustainable coming into the attention.
Right. The money-wise, there has been a problem. I mean, if government did not have to put in a lot of money, taxpayers' money, I don't think this might have become this kind of politically controversial issue here. But the thing is, national pension, we discussed this before quite a while ago, that national pension itself has been doing pretty well in terms of its investment.
Right.
We've been getting over 7% return on national pension payment, but these government officials, government personnel's pension has been receiving last year less than 4% return. So, as you can see on the screen, last year, government had to put in like 3.3 trillion won to fill the gap, all right? And the real problem is by year 2030, government, if a system remains in place, government will have to put in per year over 17 trillion won to fill the gap. So this is a problem. That's why a lot of people who actually believe we need a reform of this government workers' pension and military personnel's pension. By the way, these numbers are these two pensions combined.
Right.
And those people who believe in the need for reform are saying that we got to act now.
Right, so the reform is needed. So what can be done to reform this military and government pension systems, and how feasible are the options?
Well, easily we can say we should reduce the overall benefit payments that they will be receiving after their retirement. And that's easy to say.
Right.
But the thing is, government officials, I have many friends in the government, and they'll be very, very, very upset about that, because when they enter the government service, they had that expectation about the future income and all that. But anyway, the reformers are talking about, even though, things change in national politics and national system, so because of this extraordinary circumstances, which was signified by one example, by that graph that we just saw, we got to act, and we got to cut down overall payment. Actually, over the past several years, there have been some actions on that front. For instance, a few years ago, there has been some adjustment made in terms of how much the government officials will be paid, and even the military personnel's payment has been frozen for the past several years in terms of not seeing further increase in the future. But I think we will continue to hear about, how much actually they may have to get to pay more in the future in terms of monthly premium, and then they will get to receive less in terms of monthly payment after the retirement. I think that discussion will continue on.
Right, and it's a topic that we will come back and revisit in the near future.
Right.
All right, Dr. Kim Byoung-joo, thank you so much for today and all of this week. We'll see you on Monday with more.
Okay, we'll do.